Happy Wednesday, everybody. For those of you who are curious, this thing behind me is the microphone I record my podcast on. And that podcast, it's a podcast for writers, and it's called the Authorpreneur Podcast. I post the audio version in video form over on my other YouTube channel. I think it's just called Writer AD Hey. I need to change the name of my second YouTube channel to something that's a little bit more descriptive, like maybe Writing with Amelia D. Hay or something. But that's not why you're here. In the last vlog, which was many months ago, I'm going to start being a little bit more consistent with these vlogs over on this channel, because I'm really creating them for people like you who love reading crime thrillers and are interested in what goes on in the behind the scenes of an author, which is why I created these behind the scenes vlogs. In the last vlog, which was, I think it was sometime in March, I was talking about revising my first crime thriller, Missing, and I've actually completed those revisions. I went on and used a program called AutoCrit, and after that I've submitted it to an editor. At the moment I am waiting for feedback. I should actually get that feedback towards the end of the month, anytime after, I think it's the 21st of June. I then need to work on the recommended suggestions by the editor. I should get a report, and after that I'll need to submit the manuscript back to her for a final line edit. So she'll see my book twice. So during this time I had considered making another revision to book 2, which is, at the moment, it's called Silence. But then it sort of dawned on me that maybe that wasn't the best decision, because the feedback I would get from Missing, I could potentially also apply that to book 2. So I'm going to wait until I get that feedback, until I'm completely finished with the edits on Missing, to then go on to Silence and Immunity. Due to this particular editor's schedule, I may have to use a different editor for book 2 and 3, because even though she's amazing, she's only just one person, and I'm a little worried she might not have time, because books 2 and 3 are much longer. They're a short novel and then a full-length longer novel. I think book 2 and 3 I will definitely use a professional beta reader. I should have submitted Missing to a professional beta reader before I submitted my editor, but I didn't get around to it. I was lazy, and, well, not lazy, I just didn't have time. The editor eventually got back to me and she was available quite soon, so I had to take it. I felt like I had to take it, because otherwise I felt like if I waited that I may not be able to get to work with the editor that I wanted. But that's where Missing is at the moment. So today I kind of woke up this morning thinking about, or re-remembering, an idea I had at the beginning of the year around New Year, when Roland and I were in France visiting his family, and that was writing short stories using StoryCube, using Rory's, the product is called Rory's Story Cubes. And I just dropped the ball because I didn't get around to doing that, because I wanted to finish Missing, I wanted to revise Missing, and I did want to create a free short story so people, when they signed up to my list, they got a short story while they waited for my 3 books to be finished. So I didn't get around to doing that, just purely because of my schedule, and because this week I wanted to work on creating that short story. I have an idea for it. It has a loose outline. It's not as detailed as what I would normally use. The outline for the short story, it's called The Lawn, and the outline isn't as detailed as what I'm used to working with, so I'm a little bit scared, for lack of a better word, I'm a little bit scared to start, because I'm used to writing with a lot more information and already having almost like a skeleton of the story written down first. So maybe I should just go for it and write it. But I thought I would revisit an idea I had to write a weekly short story, or a short story a month, on my blog, and then send my email subscribers the ebook version so they could download it on their device and read it like an actual story instead of on the blog, if that makes sense. And the product I wanted to use is is Rory's story cubes. So that they are here. And I'm using an extension pack, and that is, they're out because I've already rolled them and everything. It's called, this extension pack is called Clues. So that's the extension pack that I'm using with the Rory's story cubes, and this is the original version. So this is the base. Yeah, so this is the original base pack. So what you do is, sorry, it comes with 9 cubes, and when you use the base pack and an extension pack at the same time, what you do is the original pack comes with 9 story cubes, and you just take 3 out and you insert these 3 into the pack and you sort of roll them. There are instructions to play it as a game, but I'm using it to create a short story. So what I've done is, there are proper instructions, like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to read the instructions on the pack. So you're supposed to start with, so the game is you have a few people. This is something you play with a few people, and so you roll the 9 dice. So you pick a dice that will be the starting point of your story. You pick a title or theme of the story, and then you roll the 9 cubes and try to tell the story that relates back to the title or the theme. So you divide the cubes among the players, starting with, and it doesn't matter if someone gets more cubes than somebody else. You try and divide them evenly between the people. And sorry, it's not focusing for some reason. Yeah, so you divide the cubes between the players, hopefully evenly. So based on whatever cube the player has, you add to the story with those cubes, and then you just keep going around the circle or the table or whatever it is that you're playing until all the cubes are used up and you've told the story. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the story purely with the cubes that I have rolled. And also, there's also an app. If you don't like physically rolling dice, they have a story cubes app where they have the base pack, where I think I might have had to pay for the base pack. Yeah, so that's what the app looks like on the inside. And as you can see, I think you get the I don't think the app is free on the store. And I probably won't be able to tell either, because I've already purchased it, and it'll just say that I've already purchased it. So just like the game, in there you have a base pack, you can buy the extensions. Some of the extensions, they sort of range from $1.99 to £99, and I'm assuming it's probably the same price in US dollars or whatever currency that you're in. It's probably something quite low, a price that's quite low. So I thought maybe I should show you the dice that I rolled, because I can't quite show you on the app. So I got this, the first one I got is like a little magnifying glass, and then I got a little flower and a question mark. This dice is actually a part of the clues, and to me it looks like a calculator with some type of hidden number, or maybe it's a safe. I didn't think of that, it could be a safe. I guess my inner crime writer, my crime thriller writer, just thinks that this is blood splatter. Yeah, I know, one-track mind. So I guess this is like, obviously, the earth, so I thought this could be like a symbol. This could be travel, or it could represent like an actual physical globe in someone's office. Do you know how people have those really old style globes in their office, and they look quite pretty, and they're really there just for decoration? That's what that reminded me of. And this is a file, and this is actually a part of the Clues app as well. So was the blood splatter. That was a part of the Clues pack, sorry. And this is an arrow. And to me this looks like a walking cane from an elderly person. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell a short story. I'm going to look at the cube, I guess think about them for a while and interpret them in my own way. There's no right or wrong way to interpret these cubes. I'm going to outline my story based on my interpretations of these dices, and I'm going to obviously then write a short story, edit it and put it up on my blog, and obviously sort of create a cover and make it available to the readers on my email list. So I'll put a link to the email list if you like crime thriller short stories and you're interested in seeing the story that I come up with this particular group of dice. So I'll leave that link in the description box below. Hello everybody, I just got a really exciting, not even remotely writing life related delivery, although caffeine's kind of writing related, sort of, well, writing life related. But I guess this is a behind the scenes vlog, so this is just what I'm like, you're probably gonna find out anyway, but I've got a bit of a tea addiction. I love it, and my favorite company is actually T2. And while I'm on this topic, this is not in any way an ad. I regularly buy tea and accessories from T2 on a regular basis. This is stuff that I've purchased with my own money, just to make it clear, because I know everyone these days is throwing up ads and not everyone's honest about it. So I just want to tell you straight up, if I'm sponsored in any way, I will tell you, and I'm not going to be sponsored by a product I wouldn't even use. But yes, this is not sponsored, but I'm super excited to share this with you. I've actually opened the box in advance just so you don't see me, you know, scrambling for a knife or a pair of scissors to try and open up the box, because what happens with these types of vlogs is it never happens the way you expect it to. You're expecting just to open it up all, you know, cool, and it's just not going to happen for me. Every time I order stuff from T2, I do order stuff every 3 months, and because I order a lot of stuff, it comes in this big box, and for the life of me, I don't know how to get rid of this big box, but so I've got heaps of this. This is the big box. Oh, and by the way, this is like a cushion Roland got from his work. He works for Google. For a while there, Google used to give away their own merch for free. They still do, but that was like one of the coolest ones. Yeah. So the first type of tea that I get is, it's called Just Chamomile, and I love this. I know it's chamomile tea, but I have a caffeine sensitivity, so if I have any more than about 3, I have huge cups. Like you've seen the cups on my Instagram, on my writer Instagram account, and my Thriller Novel Nerd Instagram account, where I take photos of the books that I'm reading, and I usually have a cup of tea, and it's usually a giant cup of tea. I'll have 3 cups of those of green tea, so usually I think they're like the size of possibly 2 cups, maybe 1.5. So I'm probably having more than 3 cups, but I've worked out if I have more than 3 of those of a caffeinated type of tea, I almost get nauseated, and I get nauseated, so then I have to turn to teas to get rid of that sort of nauseous sort of feeling that I get, and one of those is chamomile. The next one is Sencha green tea, and these teas are all in a bag. These green packets hold about 60 tea bags, so there's like 120 tea bags here. So all of this tea lasts me 3 months. Yeah, so I don't buy that often, but when I do. And this is Sencha green tea. It's sort of a really light green tea flavour. Maybe not as light as jasmine tea, but it's still really nice. I usually get a big packet of these for peppermint tea, but they didn't have it. So I've just got this little cube, and it's called Just Peppermint, and there's about 25 bags in here. I will probably have to top this up at some point, because this is gonna last me maybe a month if I'm lucky. So I drink that for the same purpose, drinking chamomile tea. So I don't let myself drink green tea after 5 p.m. So after that, if I want like a hot drink, I will drink these sort of herbal infusions. So chamomile, peppermint, and I've also got this one, and it's called lemongrass and ginger. And then this is a tea bag as well, and I just love this flavor. It's ginger tea is okay. I've grown to love it with a bit of lemongrass. I prefer lemongrass over lemon because I find lemon just a bit too of a citrus taste, but with the lemongrass it really adds something to the ginger, and I absolutely love it. Maybe I'll open a box and show you what I'll actually open peppermint because I know I've still got a cube of this left. Can't decide which one I'm going to open because I want to have a cup of tea after this. Actually, this is the last box of tea that I have. It again, it's tea bags, and it's 25 tea bags, and it's called China Jasmine tea, and I absolutely love this. It's really like a nice sort of beautiful, I guess it's got like quite a floral sort of flavor to it, and it's quite nice. And this is just what the tea bag looks like. It's got this cute little label on it that says it's from T2 and the type of tea that it is, that just says China Jasmine, and it's like this pyramid shape to it, and I really like it. Sometimes towards the end of the cup I will get, I guess, fine fragments of the tea get loose from the tea bag, but it doesn't happen as often as other brands. I was using Tea Pigs for a while, and that happened all the time. It got to the point where I couldn't drink the last 10 mils of the tea, and that just annoyed me. So I changed to this brand. It just doesn't happen too often, especially with the green teas. I think it happens more with one of the herbal teas. I think it happens maybe with the peppermint tea. But anyway, that's my mini tea. It's not really a mini tea haul, it's like a massive tea haul. But anyway, that's my massive tea haul. If you live in London or Australia, you'll find this brand in London and Australia. But if you just want to order if you just want to check them out, I'll leave a link, and that's a non-affiliate link, by the way. I'll just leave a link to the T2 website. I think they have like an international store where you can sort of ship worldwide if you're interested in trying some of it. So yeah, now I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. Happy Thursday, everybody. So today is going to be a podcast kind of day. So I have two elements to my podcast now. I have the audio version and the video version. So due to my current setup, you probably won't be able to hear it now because I plan on editing this out in post, but there is a huge busy road, and for some reason it's easier for me to edit out the sound of that in video than it is in my audio software. For some reason, even if I extract the audio from the video, what happens is I lose a little bit of something in the quality, and it doesn't sound as good as if I use my Blue Yeti microphone, which is for podcast recording. So I have to film it twice, and it turns out the filming of the video becomes much quicker. So it's a more quicker experience because I've recorded the audio, and it's almost like a rehearsal. So I've recorded the audio, so the recording, including the setup, because I can't use my office for the podcast, I actually use my bathroom. I know, it's a bit weird, but I have to turn like all sorts of things off. I have to turn the fan off, I have to take the clock out. So my husband likes to have a clock in the bathroom. I'm not judging him at all. Roland, if you're watching, I'm not judging. But anyway, so I have to take a few things out, turn all my devices on silent or theatre mode, and then I have to, sorry, I just realised I'm showing a lot of cleavage. Yeah, I have to turn everything off on silent, and then so I record the audio. Usually as I record the audio version of the podcast, I realise there are minor errors in the script that weren't picked up in the editing phase. So I make those changes, I pack up the podcast, have lunch, and then I go and record the video. So that means I tried to film it in the lounge room, but it ended up being a total fail. So I filmed it in here, but from the point of view of me sitting at my desk with the bookcase that's behind me. I'll show you. Little bookcase. Oops. Yeah, so there's a little bookcase behind me, and they podcast viewers see that. The reason why I'm showing it to you is that particular video won't be on this channel, it'll be on my other channel. So yeah, the joys of having 2 YouTube channels. So all of that recording time, setting up, packing up, changing locations, because I just changed my mind about the location of the video podcast recording, as I sort of mentioned to you earlier. And then, yeah, and then the next phase is editing both of those things. So the recordings, both of those recordings took 3 hours. So today is going to be a podcasting day. So I'm not going to show you me editing my podcast because that's boring. And the video, because it also looks boring too, because I literally just sit here at the computer and just stare, and I'm sort of like hunched over like a hunchback, like the Hunchback from Notre Dame. It's not pretty, it's boring, you don't want to see that. But I thought I'd let you know what I was doing, just so you don't think that I do nothing on Thursdays. Because the next clip you see from me probably will be tomorrow, which is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. So the last clip, it was Thursday, and I mentioned to you that I was having a podcast day where I was recording the video podcast and the audio version of the podcast. I finished editing the video at around 9 p.m. and I was super tired. Well, I'd finished editing the video and then I started editing the audio, and I sort of got to about, I think there was 3 minutes left of the podcast. I didn't realise, but there was only 3 minutes left, and I got to 9 p.m. and I was just so tired, and I was so tired I couldn't function. And all I'm doing is listening. All editing is really, all I do is I go back and I listen to what I've said and I edit out the mistakes that I make and the really breathy pauses, the ums, the ahs, the buts, the sort ofs, all those words that I say, including so. I seem to throw that around a lot too, that I say when I'm thinking, and it's just filler words. So that's all I do. I was so tired I couldn't even do that. I've also remembered that the previous weekend I actually worked, and that first week back from my month-long USA trip, I worked long hours then too because I wanted to catch up. Not that I have, but I had a lot of stuff to do and I had tried to catch up, and well, I failed, obviously. So today, realistically, I started working at 5 p.m. today. I just needed to give myself a break and just not do anything. So I slept in and I did nothing for the last, I don't know how many hours it is. I had breakfast and I just did nothing, and it was nice. So I've now just finished editing the rest of the podcast. I have a few other sort of business type things to do. Like I need to send out an email to one of my email lists. And then I have to make these podcasts available. So it's podcast day part 2. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, this is obviously Mickey. I don't think it's official Disney merch because I got it from Primark. Maybe it is official Disney merch because that's a Disney logo. Who knew? Anyway, I got this from Primark. I saw it in the Apple News feed that they were selling these. I think it was in winter, and I was like, oh, I need to have it. And it was like £8 for this. Super cute. And even though it's like super bright outside and it's like almost 6 and the sun's still out, it's still jumper wearing weather in London. I kind of feel bad because I know there are people in Miami right now sweating. Sorry if you're in Miami, or the entire state of Florida really. Is Florida the city? Miami's the state? I'm a bit confused. I'm going to check that. Yes, Florida is the state, Miami is the city. Yes, I know my American geography. We'll just forgive the fact that I had to look that up in Google, and I went there this year and it was super hot and humid. Well, maybe it wasn't super hot, but it was humid, and it is actually my natural climate is actually really similar to Florida, but I haven't lived in Brisbane for such a long time. I'm used to this, where summer sits around 20 degrees Celsius, which is, I'm going to translate that into Fahrenheit because I have a funny feeling a lot of my audience is actually in the US, so you probably don't understand the metric system, which is totally fine. So it's around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it is, sorry, I'm looking at why is it showing me LA? Currently it's 17 degrees and it's quite windy. So it's 62.6 degrees Fahrenheit and there's a lot of wind. So when there's wind, it makes it, obviously the wind is going to make it feel like it's colder. So hence the jumper wearing, just in case, because it looks quite bright. I just thought I'd explain that because you're probably watching this going, well, it's sort of June, like why are you wearing a jumper? So yeah, that's why I'm wearing a jumper. It's so British to really obsess over the weather. I'm actually half Australian, half British, so, and the longer I live here, the more British I become. Fun fact. But anyway, I'm wasting time talking to you. It's not really wasting time, I'm procrastinating, and you're sort of helping me. That's okay. I need to get back to podcast. Bye!